How's it going today? My name is JD. I'm the Key Account Manager here at Subzero Scientific. I just want to say thank you for your purchase, and in this video I'm going to show you the parts that your system comes with and how to operate the machine safely. So when you purchase your system will come with your recovery chamber and the collection dish. You'll have your gas tank. This up here is a siphon tube to transfer liquids. These are our vapor ports to transfer our vapors, our safety blow-off valves, and then you'll also have a PSI gauge on both your recovery chamber and gas tank. You'll get your material column, and with the material column also comes the material column cap, the perforated reducer, the high pressure clamps, and all the Viton gaskets to hook the system up. So we have two different types of pump packages. We have a single pump package and a dual pump package. Our single pump package is a single TRS-21, a single MT69 solvent condenser. You'll also get a vacuum pump to remove the oxygen from the system and a scale for weighing out your solvents. You also get all the hoses and quick disconnects to connect the system to the pump. After we have our hoses hooked up to our pump, we'll take our hose from our MT69 and hook it up to our recovery chamber. And then we'll take our vacuum hose and hook it up to our other quick disconnect. And now we'll turn our vacuum pump on. And I'm going to open our safety ball valve underneath our quick disconnect that our vacuum pump is hooked up to remove all the oxygen out of our recovery chamber. Once we removed all the oxygen from our recovery chamber, I'll open my safety ball valve that's hooked up to my hose that connects up to my MT69 all the way to the outport of our recovery pump. So now we're going to close our safety ball valve to our quick disconnect that's connected to our MT69, and we're going to remove that hose. After we've removed all the oxygen from our recovery pump, our lines, as well as our recovery chamber, we're also going to remove the oxygen from our gas tank. But before I do that, I'm just going to put my gas tank on the scale and get the empty weight, so that way when I have to add solvent later, I have a tare weight that I can subtract from. And with the purchase of your system, you will also get an extra 5-foot hose with a male quick disconnect on each end. So we have a 6-to-1 ratio, so I'm running 1 pound today, so I'm going to distill 6 pounds of solvent. If you have our 2-pounder, you're going to distill 12 pounds of solvent. Our 5-pounder, you'll distill 30, and if you have our 10-pounder, you're going to have to distill 60 pounds of solvent. Now I'm going to turn my scale on, so that way it's tared with our tank and our hose hooked up. Now we'll open our valve to our solvent tank, and we're going to open our safety ball valve. And once we get to 6 pounds of solvent, or negative 6 pounds of solvent on our scale, then I know I've reached 6 pounds. So this is a 2-micron phase separation paper. This is going to trap all the fats, lipids, and waxes during our inline dewaxing process. I'm going to set my filter in my gasket, set my gasket on our perforated reducer, and then we'll set that on the bottom of our material column. Now we'll connect our reducer with our high pressure clamps. Tighten your clamps down evenly. If you tighten one side down all the way and then try and tighten the other side, it won't seat right. and that could cause a leak in your system. So now we're going to pack our material column. Today we're going to run some Goji OG trim. So I'm going to pack it into a little ball, and then we'll pack it from the top of our column. And I'll add about 2 to 3 handfuls, and then I'll pack it down. You want to try and get as even and tight of a pack as you can. So after I add about 2 to 3 handfuls, I'll use my packing tool to pack down our material. The packing tool and filters are also included when you purchase a machine. It smells really good.
Now we'll add our material column cap.
So we're going to add ice to our condensing coil.
This is going to help condense our vapor back into a liquid.
Now the butane is evaporating, going through our recovery pump as a vapor. As it travels through our MT69, it's going to condense back into a liquid before going into our gas tank, leaving all the impurities that have a higher boiling point than butane left behind. So now all of our butane is transferred from our recovery chamber to our gas tank. I'm going to close my safety ball valve and remove my hose. Then I'm going to come over to my gas tank, close my safety ball valve, and remove my hose. And then I'm going to turn my pump off.
Now that I've reached -10 in my recovery chamber, we'll pull it out of our hot water bath.
So now that our recovery chamber is out of our hot water bath, I'm going to go ahead and equalize the pressure. And then now we'll remove our collection dish. Now we're going to clean out our mystery oil with some 99% isopropyl alcohol. So once we have our recovery chamber cleaned and assembled, we're going to put our gasket on top of our ball valve. And now we'll place our material column on top of our recovery chamber. And now we're going to vacuum out all the oxygen from our recovery chamber and our material column. You want to make sure that your ball valve on your recovery chamber is open, so that way we're removing the oxygen from our material column at the same time as our recovery chamber. It's very important to remove the oxygen. Butane isn't flammable unless mixed with a ratio of 1.8% oxygen. So we're going to remove all the oxygen to eliminate that factor. Now that our system's vacuumed, I'm going to close my safety ball valve underneath our quick disconnect, remove my vacuum line, and turn off my pump. Now I'll add our dry ice and isopropyl alcohol. Now that we have our dry ice in our sleeve, I fill it up to about 1 inch to 2 inches from the top, and then we'll add our isopropyl alcohol. You want to be sure to kind of add it slow, otherwise it'll get really violent and boil over the edge. Now we're going to hook up our hose to our siphon tube and to the top of our material column. And we'll open our safety ball valve under our quick disconnect on our siphon tube, as well as on top of our material column. Now we're transferring liquid from our siphon tube up our hose and into the top of our material column, flooding our column from the top. Now we're going to put our gas tank in our hot water bath. The pressure inside the gas tank will push the liquid up the siphon tube into the top of our material column at a faster rate. So now as we flood our column, I'm going to crack our ball valve just a little bit and let just a little bit of solvent through, and then shut it, just to make sure that there are no voided pockets or areas that any of the butane might have missed. Now that our column is flooded, this is where most people can use their own judgment and experiment with different soak times. Ourselves, we're gonna actually do a 30-minute soak time on this material, so we'll check back in with you guys in 30 minutes. Now that all my gauges read the same, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my hose from my siphon tube. And my material column. Now I'll hook up my hose that's connected to the input of my recovery pump to my recovery chamber, and my hose that's connected to our MT69 to our gas tank. And then we'll open our safety ball valves under our quick disconnects and turn our pump on. So this step is called our dry recovery. So we started our recovery process without having any hot temperatures to our recovery chamber because we don't want to build any pressure. We actually want to reduce the amount of pressure, creating a vacuum, so that way all the solvent that's trapped in our material column will be collected in our recovery chamber. Now that our dry recovery is over, I'll go ahead and shut our ball valve and remove our material column. So now we'll put our safety cap on and place our recovery chamber in our hot water bath. So we'll use our sight glass as well as check our gauge on our PSI. I like to let it get down to about -5 before I'll pull it out. Now that our recovery chamber is out of our hot water bath, we're going to make sure to dry it off. And then we're going to remove our collection dish and pour it right onto our parchment paper. So we're going to open our valve. And remove our collection dish. I think this is going to turn out to be a very stable product.